Hello and welcome to the United Stand. We're live with our FC Basel versus Manchester United preview, and the injury concerns are stacking up for Jose Mourinho yet again. So much so that Pogba and Zlatan could well miss this game to protect them for what is coming further ahead. We know that our season does not depend on a visit to Switzerland tomorrow night against Basel. 1 point will put us through. 6 points separates us from the second place, which is Basel. So unless they beat us tomorrow and then we lose the last game, we're going to qualify from the group. And to be honest, a draw tomorrow is absolutely fine. There is 0 point in playing Pogba or Zlatan other than self-gratification from us United fans who want to see them play. From a bigger picture point of view, no, they shouldn't be anywhere near it. And I'll be stunned if Jose Mourinho plays them. Possibly gives Zlatan another half an hour. But Pogba, we saw how much we miss Pogba. He needs to be wrapped up in the proverbial cotton wool, kept out of a nothing game, and kept, Brighton at home, with all due respect, should be a win for us. That should be Pogba's next game. There's no point in him playing tomorrow. All it is a risk that we do not need to take. In relation to the injury concerns that are stacking up again, as I said, Phil Jones still out, Eric Bailly still out, Michael Carrick still out. So 3 players there, which mean in relation to centre-backs, we are quite limited. Phil Jones and Bailly are arguably our first choice centre-backs. Phil Jones we know is out because of the England debacle and giving him bloody 20 pain-killing injections to play a friendly and then get injured in it. And Bailly's a bit like Pogba, isn't he? And Carrick is a bit like Pogba. We don't know what their injuries are. Michael Carrick, as far as I'm recalling, correct me if I'm wrong, said the man in the orthopaedic shoe, that I do not know. I think Carrick played a League Cup game and then didn't seem to be injured, but's been injured ever since. There's some people out there, I don't know what you think, should we have signed Carrick for another year? I mean, experience in the dressing room, he's got to be in that dressing room for a start, and he's hardly been in it at all this season, so it's a bit of a waste of time. But I do think that with Rooney going, Carrick was right to be kept. Who knows what the injury is, though? I mean, Carrick over the last 2 years, his first 10 years at United, he was flawless, such an important player. His last 2 years, he's injured all the time. So it's a shame about Carrick, he's out injured. Eric Bailly, we do not know what the injury with Eric Bailly is. We don't know. I hope, is it long term? Is it short term? He wasn't actually part of the Ivory Coast squad because he was suspended. So I think he picked up an injury in training. And I said this a few weeks ago about Eric Bailly. He picks up a lot of injuries. I mean, Phil Jones gets a lot of stick for getting in injuries. And Eric Bailly's only been here like a fifth of the time Phil Jones has been. But in that time, when you look back at Eric Bailly's Manchester United career, obviously he's a fan favourite, but he's injured a lot. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. But in relation to Paul Pogba, would you risk him tomorrow? Get below in the comments, let us know. Would you risk Pogba tomorrow? I personally wouldn't, and this is why this is my team news for tomorrow. So this is how I would line up against Basel, or today, if you're watching it on the Wednesday. This is how I would line up for this game. So De Gea in goal, Smalling and Lindelof pick themselves. I personally think we would have played a 3-5-2 in this game. We've done it in Europe before. I think Mourinho likes it, but he just hasn't got the 3 centre-backs to do it. He could play Blinds there, he could put Darmian in there, which is a possibility. I doubt he'd play Twansibi in a game like this, so I think we will see the 4-2-3-1. So we'll see Smalling and Lindelof, which, I'm a big fan of Smalling. For all those people who don't like Chris Smalling, I'll say one thing to you. Where would we be this season without Chris Smalling, considering the injuries to Phil Jones and Eric Bailly? Smalling's been the rock, the reliable player to come in, and he got a good goal at the weekend with his head, and I think he's our best header of the ball out of our centre-backs anyway. Lindelof, slip at the weekend, perfect that he'll get to play again. I think he's playing okay at the moment, and he's on that mountain of getting back up to being a reliable player for United, so good for him to play. Darmian at right back, because we'll definitely won't refuse the opportunity to rest Valencia. We know that Mourinho does do that with him. So Darmian will come in because there's nobody else who can play right back unless he played Young. But I think he'll want to replace Young. Massive news on Ashley Young. I'll be talking about that in a minute. Blind could come in at left back, but personally, I'm hoping we're going to see Luke Shaw in there. I was shocked at the weekend, pleasantly shocked that Luke Shaw was on the bench ahead of Darmian and Blind. Why Mourinho would do that? He's never really done that with the first team squad with Luke Shaw, so surely Shaw will play tomorrow, and I hope he does, because it'd be a great opportunity for him to do it. Midfield 3, Herrera, Fellaini, Mata, no Matic, no Pogba. Give them a rest. They're very important players. I cannot drill this home anymore. Get me a Black & Decker, because Our biggest games over the next few weeks are working towards beating Manchester City. We've got to be with 8 points, or 8 points is what we're not going to get any less because City aren't going to lose a game before us. But we've got to beat Watford and Arsenal before that. Watford are a week today, I think. Then Arsenal a week on Saturday. That's where you need Pogba, Matic, Zlatan. So none of those, please. Mata played well at the weekend, I'd play him. Mkhitaryan could come in, but would you trust, we can't afford to lose. We don't want to play with 10 men, so I'd put Mkhitaryan on the bench. Lingard, perfect game for him to come in. Squad player, very happy with that. Same with Fellaini and Herrera at the moment. And then Lukaku and Martial, put a bit of class in the team. We don't want to go too weak against Basel. They beat us, and it gives us, what I want to see happening is us beating them, and then that makes us qualify. And then the last Champions League game, which is in between Arsenal and City against CSK Moscow at Old Trafford, we can play the kids because we'll be qualified top as the group, and it's in between those two big games, so we can rest a lot of players. So that's why it's important tomorrow we don't get beat. We need to get the result tomorrow, which I'll take a draw. I personally think we might draw tomorrow. I'm going to go 1-1, which for United I think is a good performance. It qualifies us as top of the group, job done, and then we can focus on the bigger tasks. But for me, absolutely no way that we should risk Paul Pogba, even Matic. Matic deserves a break. Daniel's just said it. Matic needs a rest, but I would give Pogba and Zlatan 15 minutes each. Maybe. I wouldn't start them. Yves Preze has already sort of brought it in about Ashley Young, so I'll mention it now. Ashley Young, contract renewed till 2019 for 8 million, apparently. He's already on a... Let me just read this correctly, because he's already on 120 grand a week, which is nearly £500,000 a month, which is 1 million times 6. So he's nearly on 6 million a year anyway. Have I just got my maths wrong? £120,000 a week, 4 weeks in a month. So that's £480,000 in a month times 10, 4.8 million. So he's on roughly that anyway. I don't know what the drama is about that. He's roughly on £6 million a year anyway. Pfft, crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. So he's going to get rewarded with a new 1-year contract, which, to be honest, Ashley Young as a versatile squad player is quite useful. But what I would say is that, do you want Ashley Young to be Manchester United's first choice left back? I think he's very good going forward, but I worry about him going back. But he has deputised for Valencia. He's got a lovely cross on him, so I'm not massively bothered about Ashley Young staying for another year. I think he's very expensive, and if Mourinho's been told to get rid of players, then 120 grand a week for Ashley Young's a lot. However, when you let 6 million to keep Ashley Young for another year, when you think about what it would actually cost to bring somebody in, signing on fee, wages, everything, it's always cheaper to keep what you've got. So Ashley Young staying for me. I'm not massively concerned about it. He shouldn't be a first team player next year, but for the moment, he's been very, very useful to us. Very, very useful. 52 weeks in a year, says Logi Rex. 100k a week means 5.2 million, doesn't it? You're right. So, yeah, he's on 120 grand a week, so he's on about 6 million. Ryan McSwiggan says it'll be 2-0 to Manchester United. Why are you doing the preview at lunchtime? I said last night, 8 o'clock shows on the United Stand for me are topical discussion shows, and we go in it hard. So I don't want to just spend the first 10 minutes of a topical show going on about previews and tactics. So I just wanted to fit the Basel preview in. So make sure you've dropped a like, and I hope you enjoy the fact that we've done it at this time for you. Bish bash bosh, in and out, and we get the job done. No McTominay, says Mick Rooster. I mean, McTominay could play. McTominay could play. Let me go back to that team for those who are joining later. Of course, McTominay could come into that midfield, but I also think it's really important that people like Herrera, Lingard, Fellaini get some game time, because we never know when we might need them. We never know when the next injury is coming, so keeping them sharp is really, really important. And McTominay, we've got a League Cup game. It's not coming up for a while, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to giving McTominay a bit of time. I wouldn't be opposed to giving McTominay a bit of time at all. Twansibi will play, said somebody. Anthony Martial. I'd love Twansibi to play. I'd quite like us to see play a 3-5-2. But for me, the most important thing is that we... I agree, Fresh King SG. I'd love to see Luke Shaw starting, and why shouldn't he? He was on the bench at the weekend, so the next logical step is that he starts tomorrow, which would be massively exciting. But the big thing for me is that Zlatan and Pogba cannot stop. And for those people moaning about there aren't any injury concerns, have a word with yourself and sit down. Pogba and Zlatan have just come back from big injuries. The big games for Manchester United are not tomorrow night against Basel. They're not Brighton at home. They are games that we should be getting the results we need to get to further our league progression and our Champions League progression. Our big games are Watford away next week, midweek, Arsenal on the Saturday, and then Manchester City the week after. That is where Pogba and Zlatan have got to be tuned and ready. And Matic needs a rest. So I wouldn't play them tomorrow. I think, you know what, if Pogba plays tomorrow, he plays great for an hour and he twinges his hamstring again, there will be bloody uproar. It's not worth the risk. It is not worth the risk, especially when you've got people like Fellaini, Herrera, who are fresh and they can come in and play. So it's just not worth that risk. Zlatan, I'd be tempted to give him 20 minutes because it's part of his progression of getting back after 9 months, but not Pogba, not for a million years. And the injury concerns, well, is Carrick an injury concern anymore? He's just not involved anyway, so he'd be useful to have back as a squad player. He's not going to get near the first team anymore. But Jones and Bailly are a concern. Jones, when's he going to be back? Again, don't rush him back. We need him back for these big games. And Bailly, well, I'm starting to get concerned about Bailly's injury record. I don't know what you think. I mean, I'll leave it as a point to discuss in the comments below. Are you concerned about Bailly and how long he's been out? Because I certainly am. But yes. No to Pogba. Get that team out. Go to Switzerland. Get a point. We qualify top of the group. And then everything else takes care of itself. And as I said, the bonus is CSK Moscow, in between Arsenal and Man City at Old Trafford. Play as many kids and reserves as you can and rest all the big players for that home game against City, because we'll have to be fit for that City game. They move the ball quickly and we'll have to have a master plan to beat them at Old Trafford. But as I've said, assuming we beat Brighton at the weekend, which I am, we've got to beat Watford and Arsenal, which is a huge ask, which is why tomorrow is not massively important in my mind. Reynard Pierre makes a good point. What about Rojo in a 3-5-2? Comment of the evening for me, or the afternoon. We could do that. I just don't think Rojo's ready for 90 minutes. And then if he's not playing 90 minutes, who's going to be your third centre-back? Maybe Daley Blind. So we might see that. We are back at 8 o'clock. 100% we're back at 8 o'clock, Ryan. So drop a like on that. This is just one of the in the day ones. I have been doing them down the canal, haven't for you, but I'm not in work today, so I've done it in the studio. So if you like the lunchtime videos, drop us a like. We normally do it at 1 o'clock. It's not every day, but obviously today we've done one for you, and if there's any breaking news, we'll do it. But we are 8 o'clock live every night. So if you've not subscribed to the United Stand, we're very close to 148,500. So do subscribe, share the video please, drop a like on the video, and remember to join us at 8 o'clock tonight, where we'll be talking more debate and interacting a lot more. So thanks everyone for watching. For me, I'll happily take a point tomorrow. 1-1's the result, but what I want to see is resting some of the big players for the bigger games. Watford, Arsenal, Man City. That's where our season rests on those three games. Watford away, Arsenal away, City at home. You take 9 points from that and anything's possible this season. We blow those games, or we pick up injuries in games tomorrow, and then we're in trouble. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all very soon, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight.